on you because it's your first time. And you're the first one of the cohort, so bravo.
Yeah, I was ready a while ago.
Cool. Okay, so you're going to go up to the top and you're going to click on the little green screen share button. It's the second icon.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to select the window that has your pictures in it.
Okay.
Karma, stop fighting with the cat. Go, Legion.
Find that. Okay, so screen share.
Yep, so you'll just click the screen share, and then that should bring it up, and then I'm going to select your window. You're not part of this. I'm going to select your window so it stays on you the whole time.
Okay.
And then here's what we're going to do. You're going to tell me a little bit about the photo and what you think about it and any problems that you were having, and then I'm going to critique it on a scale of 1 to 3. 1 meaning that it shows promise, 2 meaning that it's a commendable portrait, and 3 meaning that it's exceptional and you just nailed it.
Okay.
Good?
Yep.
Okay, so tell me about your first one.
All right, so this picture was taken for a clothing line. Originally, I had cropped it. I was using a 50mm lens. I had a road behind me, so I couldn't back up any further. So originally, the shot was taken quite close in on her. Mm-hmm. But it needed more depth because it was too close to her. So what I ended up doing is I ended up stitching together this picture with some pieces from other photos that I had taken from that same spot, which took probably quite a while of post to get it to where it is at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I love the concept of the photograph. I'm not sold on whatever the like texture overlay, which I'm guessing is supposed to be like rain.
Oh, it was raining while I was shooting this.
Okay, so that's all the rain in the photo then.
A little bit of extra in post, but not much. It's mainly from shooting.
Okay. For me, that's distracting, especially for being able to pay attention to the clothing photo. If it was for a clothing line and the idea is to sell the clothes, it looks a little bit more like an art piece than commercial work. But I love it as an art piece. I love the concept of it. I would have probably gotten rid of the vignette, or I would have added a little bit more because it's just the corners of the photo. So it looks like a preset thing that you would find on like Instagram. So I would probably get rid of that actually. There's a little bit of distortion with the depth of field, which was probably added in post because you have her tack sharp and then you have the ground beneath her tack sharp and then it softens, but it's on the same field, so it should actually be the same focal point. So I do that a lot with mine, but you have to be really, really subtle about it. It's a little bit too quick to fall off, so your eyes don't process it right because your eyes know that it should be in focus. But overall, I think it's a really beautiful photograph. I love, and this is really hard, one of the things that makes me crazy is when people shoot people with dark hair or dark clothes and they lose all of the detail and you can see every single ruffle in the skirt, which I love. Overall, I think it's a really beautiful shot. There's a couple of things that I would tweak, so I'm going to give it a commendable. I think that it's good, but I don't think it quite hit the mark for exceptional, especially for some of your other work that I've seen.
Okay.
Next shot.
So this was the same photo shoot. The designer's stuff is designed around Gloomf, which is like 16th, 17th century mourning period. I think it was Queen Elizabeth mourning period or something like that, or Queen Victoria. So decided to do kind of make the photo look like it was from an old camera from around, probably not that period, but an older camera. and to make it more like a morning shot.
Okay. And again, I love your vision for what the concepts are. I think that you are nailing it 100% there. I'm not real fond of the post processing on this one. Um, you've almost got like the white vignette going on, but it's not. It's just like a change in like the contrast, and it's I get that you were trying to go for the old photo, but I think with her being so dark and in focus that it's actually distracting, and it looks like she looks out of place. She looks like a cutout in the photo rather than grounded into it. So I'd actually be interested to see what it would look like if you went through and added more of a vignette to this one and darkened it, because your eyes want to go to the lightest part of the photo.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, that's like taking you away from the subject matter. So it can be done and work that way, but I don't necessarily think that it is, specifically because the coloring and the lightness isn't even all the way across. Like, it's actually darker in the left-hand corner at the top than it is in the right-hand corner, which is probably just where your directional light was because you were shooting it outside. But I would definitely go in and post and even them out, because you want to just kind of fly off the upper left-hand side of it.
Yeah.
I do love the texture of the wall and the vines, and I think it's such a cool location that I would like to actually see that featured as much as the model. So I'd be curious to have you go in and re-edit it where you pay attention to that and the model, and it's all given equal play. Again, I love her and the design of the outfit and the fact that you can see all of the detail of it. I would be really happy as a designer to see it displayed like that, because it really does show off the garment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you a 1 on this one. I think that it shows promise. I love the concept of the shot, but I think you lost it with the post-processing.
Okay.
Next shot. Here we go.
So this is one of my first shoots that I did when I moved to Toronto from Alberta, and it's a model that I've worked with several times since. She's just fun to work with. This stylist was a new stylist that hadn't done a whole lot of pre-work as a stylist, so I thought her wardrobe choices were fabulous. But yeah, we just kind of roamed around downtown Toronto, financial district, on a Sunday when it was literally a ghost town.
I love this shot. I'm going to critique you on it, but I'm going to tell you right now that you got an exceptional on it. I adore it. It looks like it should be in a fashion magazine. Her expression and the energy she's giving is fabulous. You know, the whole look comes together. You're absolutely right. The styling is amazing. I love the post-processing on it. This is exactly what I was talking about with the one before, like giving equal play to everything. I think actually makes it a stronger photograph, but she has such presence that she's not competing with it. You know what I mean? My only real critiques, I may have gone in liquefy because of the way she's standing and she's putting the weight on the fabric. She lost a little bit of the back curve of her back to her hips, so I may have gone in and just puckered that just slightly, just to give her a little bit more of that hourglass curve and really show off the dress. But you know, overall, it's just an exceptional shot. Bravo.
Thank you. Next. So this is a new edit. It's from a photo shoot actually I did last year, but I decided to do another edit from it just recently, and I wanted to play more with more saturation, like more tones. I hadn't played much with them. I tend to stay pretty close to what the colorations that I shoot in. So I just decided to kind of, I don't know, learn from this photo a bit.
Now, just out of curiosity, because I know you're a makeup artist too, are you doing the makeup for all of these photos?
Yes, and hair.
Okay, because I know I'm supposed to be grading you on photography, but your skills as a makeup artist are just fabulous.
Thank you.
Again, I love I love the energy that she's giving to the shot. She looks flawless in the face with the makeup. So did the girl in the one before. Um, I love that you're being brave with post-processing and experimenting, but I also think that you're going to come back and look at this in a year and you're going to hate some of these, which I speak from experience because I do that all the time when I look at some of my other work that I was like, yeah, I'm being brave and I'm playing with colors and it's so cool because it's different. And now I look back at it and I go, oh God. So I don't think that the colors are working in this one because there's not enough of a fantasy element and enough interest to make the colors different and have it make sense.
Okay.
It just looks like the color tone is way off. You've got like the green at the bottom and it's like this one punch of green, but then it kind of picks it back up in the leaves on the left hand side, but then it goes to like pink, which is the same color. Like you just can't figure out what's going on. It just looks like almost like when you would have double exposures in film cameras accidentally and the colors would get all messed up, or when the sun would hit them before they were developed. I love the concept of this shot. I'm not quite sure that the angle is working just because the shot looks so heavy at the bottom because it's just this big black mass of her dress and it's taking up like a third to a half of the photo without there being any information in it. Again, we were just talking about how great you did at showing all the detail. And it may be my computer too, and some of it's like the digital interpretation, but like for me, like from her waist down, it's just this black mass. Like there's no definition to it. So I'd be interested to see the same shot from maybe a different angle and maybe losing some of the colors. So
okay. Well, the bottom half of the skirt is actually a composite, so the dress itself is a little bit different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to play with composites a bit as well. So I just went a little overboard with it.
Well, you know what? In that case, bravo on that, because I wouldn't have known that the skirt was composited in, which is a sign of a good composite. So you did well there. So I'm gonna give it a 2. I think it's commendable for where you are, but I don't think you hit the mark on it, and I'd like to see a little bit more from you.
Okay.
Next one.
Okay, so same photo shoot. Different outfit, obviously. I wanted this photo when I did it and when I posted it. I wanted it to exude emotion. This photo, even though it was for a stylist, this particular photo from the session was for me. So I wanted it more artsy, less about the wardrobe.
I love this one too. You are killing it on getting emotion from your models, and that's something that a lot of photographers struggle with. And that's one of the hardest things to teach people to do. So the fact that you have that, your work is going to soar based off of that alone. I love the color tone. I love the location. I love her body language. I would have probably pulled her far leg up just a little bit more and probably in post just dodged and burned a little, so you get that little triangle of space that separates the legs from each other. Because with the darkness of her boots and the darkness of the background, you don't get that. So it gives the illusion that her legs are wider than they are.
Okay.
But overall, it's just a beautiful shot. I might have lightened up around the bottom corner a little bit so we could really see the separation, because you lose the bottom of her boots in the darkness a little bit too. They just kind of like blend in. So I would have lightened up there and maybe just a little bit on the back of her head so that we kept the texture of her hair a little bit. But I'm nitpicking at it. Like, it's a really, really good photograph. I really like it. So I'm going to give it an exceptional, because I think it is. I think it's one of your better ones.
Cool.
So, okay, so you'll go up to the screen share button and you'll click that off now so I can see your lovely face. And then we're going to talk a little bit about where you are and where you're looking to go and why the Arcanum and let's get a little bit of an idea about what you're doing here.
Okay. Well, I started with hair and makeup for the last 10 years. Uh, I liked to watch the photographers work. Um, I don't know. I wasn't one of those makeup artists who did the makeup and then left. I tended to stick around, make sure my work was good and consistent, and watch them work. And it kind of fascinated me because I'm a big nerd and I love movies and comic books and electronics. So I about a year and a half ago, before I moved to Toronto, I decided to try my hand at some photography. Mainly, I body paint as well, so mainly I wanted to be able to shoot my own body paints without having a poor photographer to have to wait 8 to 10 hours for the paint to be done. And then I didn't realize how much I'd enjoy it, so I started doing it more often and started doing Photoshop, which now I play with way too much. But it's the best way, I think, to learn it.
Yeah, well, it's body painting with instant gratification.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really excited, and I want you to go in the group and share some of your body painting work because that's how I got started.
Really?
That's exactly how I fell into photography. Same thing. Had no training whatsoever, and I was doing a body painting series, and eventually they want to wash the paint off.
Yeah.
And so I went and bought a camera to photograph them, and it just snowballed from there. I had no intention of becoming a photographer, so kindred spirits, full on.
There you go.
So now that you're doing hair and makeup and you're doing photography, you work for, you were saying 2 salons?
I manage 2 salons.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're running a photography business.
Yes.
So what?
I wouldn't call it much of a business at the moment. It's more along the lines of I'm creating what I want to create at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you looking to do? Are you looking to quit and run your own studio?
I would love to. Originally, when I moved to Toronto, it was to do hair and makeup professionally.
Okay.
Alberta doesn't exactly have a lot of paying clients in that department. But again, photography I had just started with, and I didn't realize how much I'd love it. As bad as I've been told a business decision is to do all the hair and makeup for my photography, I love doing both and having the control over both because I feel I have the control over the finished product, so to speak.
I feel that way about retouching. I would never, ever hand my stuff over to a retoucher because I feel like it takes away from my control over what the finished image looks like. Even though I'm friends with amazing retouchers like Pradic and like people that are actually way more talented than I am, I would just never do it. Like I would stab someone that tried to take over my computer, and not literally, but so I totally understand that from your point of view. And as good as you are, like your makeup is incredible. You're exactly the kind of makeup artist that I would want to hire to do my work because your work's just flawless in that department. So the bottom line is that people will tell you it will or it won't work for you, and they're wrong if it's in disagreement with what you think. Whatever you believe is going to work for your business is what's going to work for your business. And honestly, like, fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. Like, just leave it because they're not running your business. So while they're telling you that it's going to ruin your business and you need to hire somebody else, you just go ahead and keep cashing the checks from the people that love your hair and makeup and love the images that they're getting from you and go, okay, let me know how that's working for you with your makeup artist when I'm making 3 times the rate that you are. So for me, it's both. Because I did hair and makeup for my first couple of sessions, but when I'm not anywhere near as good as you and I'm not trained to do it. So when I hired a makeup artist, it stepped up the game for me. And it also provided me a lot of freedom. So the busier I got, and you may not be seeing this yet if you're just kind of like getting into it and you're not running it full time, but when you're back to back with sessions, day after day, it really, really helps me on a personal level to go, okay, go into hair and makeup, and they're in there for half an hour to an hour, depending on what we're doing. And it gives me time to go set up sets and look for inspiration and have a cup of tea and just zen out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to lock you in the closet if you don't stop. So, so it just depends. But if you love doing it and that lights you on fire, and obviously you are incredibly gifted at it, then I would not give that up for the world. When it stops being enjoyable for you, then I would look at hiring maybe a secondary um, hair and makeup artist to help out. But as long as you're loving it, do
Mhm.
it, because that's less money that you're putting out for somebody else to work too. Like my makeup artists and hairstylists get paid anywhere between $150 to $500 a session, depending on what we're doing a day. If I could put that all in my back pocket, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, so I have no problem with that. So, is the idea in a perfect world, would you quit managing the salons and just do hair and makeup for yourself as a studio?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I don't enjoy running the salons. It needs, bills need to be paid. So
Okay. So, what would you need to make in order for that to be a reality?
based on Toronto, I need to make at least 3 grand a month, at least, to
Piece of
be,
cake.
yeah.
Piece of cake. I make that in a session. Um, so And I remember that sounding really intimidating to me at the beginning too, because I was charging $75 a session. And I was like, there's no way I can make that kind of money and nobody will pay those rates around here. But really, like when you start figuring out what it is, like let's just be ambitious with it and jump it up to 4,000 a month.
Mhm.
And then you're comfortable. Like really that breaks down to one session a week at $1,000 a session.
Mhm.
And if you break it down further, then that's 2 sessions a week at 500, or it's 4 sessions a week at 250, which is pretty standard and low across most of the markets. Like most of the people that I talk to, wherever they are, 250 is not something that's going to scare away clients based on price, and that's only 4 days a week. So it just depends on your workflow and if you can do it. If you're offering a higher end experience, then the price goes up with that. But
Yeah.
that's totally, totally doable. And I would imagine that being that you actually work at a salon and you're still kind of in the industry that you're moving into, you're honing your skills and you're talking to people that what? Spend money on how they look. So if they can
Mhm.
come in and get hair and makeup done in a salon, or they can come in and spend essentially the same amount of money to come get that done in your studio, but also have beautiful portraits to take home that celebrate that, why wouldn't they do that?
Mhm.
So as far as the Arcanum and you joining, I know it's really interesting for me to like basically meet you at a critique, because we had Miss Danielle and she couldn't stay with us, but starting over with someone new, since I haven't been growing with you, why the Arcanum? What are you looking to get out of it?
My friend Renee had sent me a link for the Arcanum. She thought it would be a good place for me to start learning, because I'm self-taught, so to speak. I have a lot of photographer friends that I can ask if I need to, but they're all busy, so I try not to. And I try and learn on my own.
Okay.
So she thought it would be a good way for me to kind of, on my own time, grow as an artist and have people to bounce ideas off of, and learn this stuff that people might have learned in photography school that I won't, because I'm not going to photography school. So
Yeah, and honestly, like I think learning is important, more important than what method of education you pick, whatever works for you. Like I could
mhm.
not go to college for photography. I would fail miserably, just because that's not how I learn, and how I'm able to retain information. So with that, are you feeling like you have a good sense of community with the other apprentices? What's lacking for you right now?
uh, Nothing. I mean, at the time it was feedback, but I talked to a lot of my fellow cohorts a lot. Um, Somehow I managed to, between 2 salons and photo shoots and trying to remember to eat, because I go several days without eating sometimes, and things like that. I still managed to get online and talk to them. So
Yeah, you're in there quite a bit, which, that's a sign that you're on the right path because you make time for the things that matter.
Mhm.
Like everybody does that. So if you're finding the time to do that while running 2 salons and your photography business and normal life stuff, and you're still in there like asking questions and having conversations and giving and getting feedback, like that's a good sign that you found your center and your purpose. So
Mhm.
that's good. So from this point on, like you have now finished your level 4 critique and
Thanks.
you have passed with flying colors.
Fabulous.
What would you like to see in the next 15 levels?
Challenges. I like seeing how people take how different photographers take one theme and make it their own, and I'm really interested in doing that and seeing how everyone else takes an idea, like a concept, and does their own thing with it. I don't know. I love seeing how everyone is so different.
Okay, very good.
And probably pull my stuff a little bit out of the gloomy department of it. I've been informed my work is a little dark, not quite dark, just I want to do a little more upbeat shots going forward.
Because you want to, or because people are telling you you should?
No, just I think our photography is what we're feeling at the time. So I think I've been so overwhelmed that my photography, that emotion has been showing through based on the pictures I choose. So hopefully, if I can get myself into a more easy spot, so to speak, then my photography will then mirror that. You know what I mean?
That's pretty profound, and I completely agree. What would need to happen for you to feel less overwhelmed? What's weighing on you right now?
Oh, just life.
Okay.
Moving halfway across the country is never an easy never an easy task. Starting over with, like in Edmonton, I had access to great models. I had access to friends. So in Toronto, I'm starting over. So I think once I get that network rebuilt with the artists here, because there's some amazing artists here, I think things will become a little easier again. It's just trying to juggle the work, the photo shoots, the networking.
Yeah.
All that.
Well, on the upside, and Bruce was asking me to spill beans about what's going on new in the Arcanum. They are actually in the process right now of working towards having, like we were talking about, having the Google Map engine so that everybody knew where they were within our cohort and the other cohort between the two. They're working on that for an Arcanum-wide version.
Okay.
So you could literally just check in and see who everyone is around you, which was always the vision from the start, but the technology has to be built, and then they will come.
It has to catch up.
Yeah, so ideally it'll work in a way that, while masters have their own cohorts, they could also say, "Hey, I'm going on a photo walk in Toronto today," and reach out to all of the photographers within 25 or 50 miles of that. And that way you could just type in, "Hey, I just moved halfway across the country and I would love some new input," and go, "Oh, by the way, there's 35 other Arcanum members that are right there that you can now reach out to and build a community with."
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna help a lot with that. But I'm hoping, and it's not the same, but I love the idea that you're also connected and now have a support system with people literally all over the world. Like I know in yours we have Canada and we have the US and we have Australia. What other places do we have in yours? Because I'm still learning
In
everyone.
England, the U.S., there's about 5 Canadians, which I've been lucky enough to meet one, and then I'm going to be meeting another one in a few weeks when I go home for a week and a half, because she actually lives back where I'm from.
Okay.
And then I have Bruce, who's just up north from me, well, northeast in Montreal. So eventually, when I can afford the time and the trip up to Montreal to maybe do some networking there, then I'll get to meet him. So
Nice.
we're trying.
Yeah, there's a couple in the other cohort too. So you guys are You guys are the only ones that get to break the rules because I have both of you. When you go into the convergence room with both cohorts, there's a couple from my first cohort that are also
Yeah.
Canadian bound, and there's a couple of masters up that way too. So maybe I'll put you in touch with one of the other masters too, and he can direct you because I think he picked mostly people that were near to him, so that he could have that community. But definitely build on that. So community is a big thing for you. What else do you feel needs to be improved so you can create light and bubbly photos?
um, I don't know. I know I have to pre-plan my shoots a bit more. I'm very much a last minute who's available to shoot because I want to do something. So not a, and then the ones that lately, the ones that I've been pre-planning, I get models who are sick, and it's unfortunately a common occurrence, I think, in our industry. You get people who are sick and flake or.
Where are you pulling them from?
They're basic, like most of the ones I've been working with lately are from an agency, but it's an alternative agency.
Okay.
And because it's TF, if they get a paid gig, right? Obviously, I expect them to take the paid gig because I would too. But it seems like in Toronto the flu's been going around lately. Even my staff has been getting sick, so it's for being the prime time of the year to shoot because the weather's nice. I'm kind of the flu going around the city is not helping matters.
Well, have you considered not working with models necessarily, but just finding beautiful people?
I don't know, because I find with models I don't have to direct as much, except for emotion-wise. Like I help them portray the emotion, but I don't have to focus quite so much on analyzing their body position.
Okay.
Because they're already comfortable with that stuff. I'm still learning about posing models, so I like you were saying, I'm strong with emotion with the models, and I think the fact that I do their hair and makeup means that because I do their hair and makeup, they're comfortable with me when we go to shoot already, because I've already done what most photographers don't get the opportunity necessarily to do, which is touch them and play with their hair and talk to them off of set. So I think with the models, it's a very fast transition. Like I find that sometimes I'm editing pictures from the first 10 shots of the shoot, which I know a lot of photographers aren't always so lucky to get in the first 10. Usually it's after the first 10 minutes they start getting when the model warms up.
So I'm gonna give you a little bit of tough love because you're in the Arcanum to find your mastery, and I would say without question that when it comes to hair and makeup that you are a master. Like you are I would hire you on the spot based on your portfolio as far as that goes. So you have this amazing thing that's already built for you that a lot of people are lacking and go through other makeup artists. But if you're going to be a master, you can't skirt things that you're not comfortable with because that's part of the learning process. So especially if you're working time for print, I would highly, highly recommend that you reach out. One, I think you'll actually have less instances of flaking because all girls love to play model for the day, the same way that little girls love to play princess and dress up. We never lose that. You know, they want to feel beautiful and sexy, and you have these gorgeous images. And if you show like the one in was it Detroit with the blonde styled with the yes, I would like to do this with you. There are very few that are going to turn you down, and they would love it because they're getting spoiled for the day and getting to step out of their normal roles of work and mom and school and life and whatever they're doing, and play a part as an actress and a model. Two, if it's time for print, then that is the time for you to play, you know. And if you're having clients come in and they're clients that are hiring you to do these sessions with them as the model, not all of them, in fact, most of them will not be able to move. So you being comfortable with that and you learning how to do that is absolutely essential.
Okay.
So I would really like to see you step away from agencies and from people that are keeping you in your comfort zone and start working with that, because you can learn a lot from watching and from teaching and from other masters. And I'm going to have a couple of posing videos that are up in the next week or two from the one shoot, but you will learn more by doing it and by telling them. And, you know, you obviously have the eye for it naturally, so you'll be able to see. And it's just a matter of having them. And when you have them here and go, this isn't working, and then just have them pull it back, like, you'll start to see what works and what doesn't in subtle poses. And then it will become second nature for you very, very easily. I think that you'll just take to it like a duck to water without a thing. So that is your personal homework.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm very excited to see what you posted in our little art gallery, so we can see some new things. But, you know, pick a friend, you know, pick a coworker, pick someone that works at your salon, pick that really, really sexy client that has the amazing bedroom hair, you know, whatever you want. Pick someone. I picked someone once out of a Chinese buffet while I was having dinner with my family. It was like, I need to shoot you. You need to come to my studio. So I don't care, but it's the end of August. By the end of September, I want to see somebody new and somebody that's not a model that you directed the whole shoot.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right. How are you feeling? Feel good after your first critique?
Yeah, yeah.
Good. Go tell everybody else that it was awful and that you cried the whole time and make them really scared, especially Martin.
Yeah, because he's up next.
Yeah. And I will see you again at level 9.
All right. Perfect.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
Bye.
Bye.